happy Thursday. I hope you are having a fabulous day so far. I want to talk to you about extremes. And inside of my Instagram stories this morning, I posted about how I had a huge breakthrough with my reverse diet yesterday. And I do want to share that. And I'm going to share all of the details. Like, I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to share it all at the end of this video. I am going to lay the foundation first and talk about extremes because it's important. I also want to put a label on this and a warning that the things that I'm going to share that I have been through are specific for me and my plan, and that everybody is different. And if you need a specific plan, you do need to go find somebody that can help you with a specific plan. It's really, really important because, again, everybody is different and everybody is going to be starting at a different place. So, let's talk about extremes. So one of the things that I find, the reason why people do not sustain their weight loss is because they go to extremes. And I was this person for a lot of years. I would go to super extreme diets, to following plans 100%, to super low calories, super low carbs, like all of these things. And eventually what happens is your willpower will be gone. Like, you will use up all of your willpower and you're over here at this extreme. Like, if you think about it like a pendulum, and you are eating super low calorie or super low carb, or you're going all in and you're sacrificing your entire life away. And then that willpower is gone. And all of a sudden you swing over to the other side and you end up gaining all of the weight back. And this like starts the yo-yo like cycle, right? Where you're just like completely yo-yoing all the time. You feel good when you first jump into that extreme, but then eventually you come out of it and nothing is sustainable or maintainable. And this is something that I changed when I decided to jump on this weight loss journey for the last time. In August of 2020, I was like, okay, if the extremes aren't working, I'm going to try something different. And I tried the sustainable approach where my calories were a lot higher. It was something that I could follow through with consistently more than the extremes. And this allowed me to lose 50 pounds on my own. I did work with a macro coach off and on just because I needed to learn how, I needed somebody to give me what I needed to be doing, so that I could learn more about my body. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that extremes are always bad. I think they do get a really bad rap. And then what's funny is, as I'm talking about this, and I'm talking about weight loss, and I'm talking about diet and fitness and all of those things, when you really look at it like what I'm talking about, you could definitely apply to your social media business or your social media brand, because extremes when it comes to posting content are not going to be sustainable. But also there's a time and a place for the extremes, as long as you have a plan to come out of the extreme. This is where most people fail, is they just think that the extreme is the answer, but they don't create some kind of plan to come out of the extreme. And this is where my reverse diet story comes in. But it's the same. Like, if you do a challenge, like I've seen people do this, where they do like a challenge where they're posting 100 posts in 30 days. This is something I have my clients do, and they crush that challenge, but they don't have a plan to come out of it. Like, they don't have something more sustainable or maintainable that they're going to turn around and do. Then they just stop showing up for a couple months, and all of that momentum that they have created is lost. So if you are going to go to an extreme, I'm going to focus on sustainable weight loss right now. But again, like I said, you could apply this to your social media brand or the way that you're showing up on social media. If you do not have a plan to come out of that extreme, you are going to feel like something is wrong with you. You are going to gain that weight back. You are going to start to feel frustrated all over again. And that's not what we want. So when you are wanting to achieve sustainable weight loss, you want to start at a place that is easy for you. You want to start at a place that you can create a lifestyle out of, and then slowly kind of get a little bit more uncomfortable. And then maybe once you have the foundation laid with the habits and you're starting to see some results, maybe you're going to go into a season of an extreme and you're going to have a plan of how to come out of the extreme. So I have done this a couple times. The first time that I did it was when I did 75 hard 2 summers ago, 2 summers ago, I did 75 hard. And honestly, I was afraid to do it because of my history of extremes, right? So I was like, if I go into 75 hard, how am I going to come out of it? And instead of being so afraid of trying it, I decided to trust myself a little bit more and make a plan to come out of it. So basically, I slowly started to come out of all of the extremes that 75 hard has you do, but I didn't just like stop everything at once. I actually went like 2 or 3 weeks after and followed basically the same principles that I was following, but slowly started to cut back on those things. And once I got to that point where I was like, wow, I'm really maintaining the results that I saw from going to this extreme, is when I decided that I would do a bikini competition, because I felt like mentally I could have that under control. And as long as I had somebody to help me come out of that extreme, that I would have a really good plan to go to be able to not swing the pendulum, right? So that I could sustain and maintain some of my results. But obviously, when you step on stage, when you are prepping for a fitness competition, you're not meant to stay at the way that you look at that point. So anyway, so what I want to share with you is the power of eating more. We are so afraid of fueling our bodies and eating more. And most people that I come across and most clients that I started to work with recently, they're all under eating. And I actually even had a client start to eat more and she's losing weight. And so with diet culture, like being shoved down our throats, telling us that we need to eat less and less and less, we think that we have to eat less and less and less all of the time. And the truth is once you can start to really work with your body and work with your metabolism, you can raise that number up and you can be more comfortable and feel like you have more flexibility, not only while you're losing the weight, but also while you're maintaining. So going into competition prep, this is what we did with myself, is we raised my calories up super, super high. Okay. This is what everybody's waiting for. They want to know all of the details. I'm going to give you all the details right now. So last year I started working with my coach and we raised my calories up like to 2,600 calories. By February, that's where I was at. And then we slowly started to cut them down for my show and going into prep. By the end of my prep, I was eating about 1,250 calories. I know that's super low and a lot of people are gonna be like, that's so dangerous. Again, I had a plan to come out of it. It wasn't something that I was just going to step on stage and then I had no plan after that, right? In February, I think I was weighing about 146 pounds. By the time I stepped on stage, I was about 128 pounds. And once we started to slowly come out of that reverse, I'm sitting anywhere between 131 and 133. So I've gained a few pounds, but really not that much. And we slowly started to raise my calories. And we got to a point where I was about 2,000, 2,100 calories. And my coach was like, okay, I think it's time for you to do some intuitive eating and take a break and not have to worry about tracking. And it was funny because it was a time in my life where, like, it was last month. It was just a couple weeks ago. I'm talking like it was like a year ago. No, it was just a few weeks ago. There was a lot of chaos going on behind the scenes. I've shared with you guys. And I was like, okay, I'll do the intuitive eating. But in the back of my head, I was like, this is the one thing that I have control over right now. And I don't want to lose control over it. And I was also fearful, like, am I going to be overeating? Am I going to gain all of this weight? Like, what's going to happen? And so when I first started the intuitive eating process, I was kind of like just going off the scale and trying to really trust myself that it would be okay if the scale went up, like it wasn't like I was going to lose all my results overnight. But through that process, I kept thinking, okay, make sure you don't eat too much, make sure you don't eat too much. And then I saw something on, like, cause that diet culture shit, it's ingrained in you. Even when you think that you have worked through all of it, it's definitely going to come back. And so I'm in a few different groups on Facebook, where competitors all come together and they chat and they talk about competing and stuff. And there was a girl in there that I read, I think it was like last week. I read how she was she was trying to bulk up. And so she was eating a ton of calories, but her weight kept dropping. And for some reason, that post and all of those things that she was talking about, like, clicked in my head, like, oh my gosh, like, why are you trying to make sure that you're like staying in, like, you're not eating too much when the goal is to eat as much as possible and maintain where you're at? So you should be like trying to kind of push the limits. And so I kind of relaxed and just allowed myself to eat. And all of a sudden the scale started dropping and dropping and dropping. And my coach, not that much, it was like a 2-pound difference, but it was interesting, the fact that I was intuitive eating and the scale was dropping. And my coach had messaged me and he's like, you're looking really good. You're looking really tight. It looks like intuitive eating is going really good for you, but let's track for a couple days to make sure that, you're not under eating, because that's not what we want, right? We don't want to come from a place. And this is also why when I work with my clients, I don't want to start them out at super low calories. When you go into an extreme like prep that I'll be going into next year, you don't want to start at super low of your calories, because then you're going to have nothing to cut from, right? Like last year I started at 2,600 calories and we got all the way down to 1,250. And could you imagine if I would have started at like 1,700 calories, I'd be eating like 800 calories. So the point is you don't want to go super low to where you have nothing to pull from. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, let's track for a couple days and see what happens. So I only tracked for 1 day so far, but I was blown away, right? So I will say this, it was really hard to just track the food I was eating rather than like trying to stay in my macros, because I'm used to seeing the macros and staying on track with that. So I really had to force myself to, okay, this is what you would be eating if you were intuitive eating, but I need you to weigh it and then plug it in and don't look at the macros. Like you're not trying to fit them into this calorie range. You're just trying to see what you're eating. And so that was a little bit of a mind like fuck at the beginning. And then I was like, okay, I got it. And so I just ate yesterday like I normally have been eating for the past couple of weeks. And come to find out, when I first started intuitive eating, we were around like 2,000, 2,100 calories. And yesterday I ate like 2,500 calories. And I was like, holy shit, like I have increased my calories and I'm maintaining my weight. So I'm going to keep tracking for today and tomorrow just to see what the average is. But it really, really shows how you don't have to be afraid of eating more and you can maintain where you're at. And in fact, I'm about, what did I say? Last year when I was eating 2,600 calories, I was like 146 pounds, and now I'm going anywhere from 131 to 133. So I am down like 13 pounds from where I was last year, eating the same amount of food. That's the goal that we want to get people to. This is how you maintain this, is building muscle. It's building those solid foundations. And it's when you go to those extremes, having a plan to come out of it and not being afraid of eating more food, because that's what makes it feel like you have, not that you have more control, but you have more flexibility when you're able to raise your calories up that high. And that should be the goal. The goal should be getting results while living your life, while having flexibility, and then being able to step into intuitive eating. But when you have your calories so low, it's really hard to do that, because you are going to feel out of control once you go to eat. But because what we did from August is we slowly increased the calories, and then we went into intuitive eating where I'm more trusting my body, I was able to raise that to a much higher level. So extremes are not sustainable. You don't even have to go to extreme. I didn't go to any extreme when I lost the 50 pounds. I did that all by keeping my calories. I don't think I ever went under 1,700 calories, but keeping my calories really high and just consistently showing up for myself, like over and over and over again, doing the basics, going for walks, lifting weights, sleeping, drinking the water, all of those things. And I still lived my life. I still had times on the weekends where I ate cake and ate pizza and all of the things. And I still do that to this day. I mean, last weekend, I even, Oops, I was just seeing that. So my point is yes, extremes are not sustainable. There is a time and a place for them, but you need to have a plan to come out of them. If you don't, you're going to keep feeling frustrated. And even with that being said, going to if you're looking at weight loss and diet, you don't ever want to just jump into an extreme. You want to slowly get yourself there so that it's easier to come out of, right? Like I wasn't sitting at 1,200 calories for more than 3 weeks. So it was easy for me to come out of that because my body was used to eating more calories. Anyways, I hope that all made sense. But it's the same thing when you're looking at your social media brand. You know, you have to have a plan. If you are going to go all in and you're going to go do a challenge where you're posting a lot or you're, maybe doing a live challenge or something like that, and then you don't have a plan afterwards and you get burnt out and you quit showing up, then you're going to feel like you're in that cycle of extremes. So making sure that you have a plan to come out of it. Okay, I've done 100 posts in 30 days. Now what does my new normal look like? Does that look like posting once a day, 2 times a day? What is that going to be for me? And what is going to be sustainable for me coming out of that, and making sure that you stick to that plan as you come out of the extreme. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. I hope this has helped. If you guys need any help with your content, with your health and fitness, I have spots open for one-on-one coaching. I also have Identity Revolution, where I really break down how I went from yo-yo dieting to sustainable weight loss. And that is in the link in my bio. The price is $22 until Cyber Monday, and then it will go up. But I'm really excited to share with you all of the things, and the shifts that I made and how I did that, because I know a lot of people have asked me, and it really comes down to subconscious work. So I'm going to be sharing that inside of that masterclass. And also I'll be sharing with you like tangible things that I actually did so that you could apply them to your life and to your journey. And I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.